All right, so today we're diving back into the madness.
Okay.
We're looking at episode 2, and using all the summaries and the reviews you've given us, it seems like this episode picks up right where we left off and throws us right back into the middle of everything.
Oh, yeah.
So that watch we saw in the premiere,
Right.
it's not just a watch anymore.
Sure.
It's like at the center of this whole conspiracy.
Absolutely.
That's pulling Muncie in deeper and deeper.
Yeah, and the death of Jennings from last week really kind of set things in motion.
Right.
Now he's got accusations on top of everything else
Oh, yeah.
he's dealing with. And that watch seems to be like the only way to prove he's innocent.
Yeah, so he goes straight to Kwesi
Yeah.
to try and clear his name.
Uh-huh.
And Kwesi's his estranged wife's brother,
Right.
who also happens to be a lawyer.
Okay.
So you'd think going
Right.
to family would be like a safe bet,
Right.
you know?
You'd think so.
But it seems like Muncie's past is really catching up with him.
Yeah.
In a big way.
It really is.
And it's almost like everyone thinks he's guilty
Yeah.
before he even gets a chance to say anything.
That's interesting how the show
Right.
explores how your past actions can color people's perception of you.
It's definitely making it a lot harder for him to prove himself. And the way the show does it is so smart.
Yeah.
He's literally pleading his case to them.
Yeah.
He's showing them the watch. He's trying to explain how he's being framed for all this.
Yeah.
But they're basically telling him to run.
Yeah.
They're like, just get out of the country.
It seems like they think running is the only option he has left.
So not only is he dealing with this crazy conspiracy,
Yeah.
but he's also battling against his own reputation.
Exactly.
And the scenes at Kwesi's law firm are just adding this extra layer of tension,
Right.
you know? Like, he's completely alone.
It just really shows how deep those
Yeah.
preconceived notions can be. Like, even with the evidence right in front of them,
Yeah.
they're more willing to believe the Muncie they think they know.
And then he goes to see his daughter, Callie.
Yeah.
And they haven't always had the best relationship.
Right.
But even she can see that something's wrong. Something's really wrong. It's like this small little bit of hope
Yeah.
in this whole dark situation.
Totally.
It's like all the adults in his life
Yeah.
have turned their backs on him.
Yeah.
But at least his daughter can see that he's in trouble.
It speaks to that, like, innate family bond.
Yeah.
That even when those relationships are bad,
Right.
there's still that concern
Yeah.
that can't just be shut off.
Exactly. And just when you think it can't get any more complicated,
Oh, yeah.
Lucy shows up,
Yeah.
gun pointed at Muncie.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Talk about a tense moment.
It really throws a wrench into things.
It does.
Lucy obviously feels trapped.
Yeah.
And she's blaming Muncie for getting her involved in this whole thing.
It really makes you wonder.
Yeah.
What did Muncie get her into?
It does.
So we also get confirmation about the assassin from the woods.
Right.
In your notes, you said that there's a body that turns up
Yeah.
puncture wound.
Yeah.
So it sounds like someone took care of that loose end.
It definitely implies that it's the assassin.
Right.
And it raises the stakes for sure.
Yeah.
It makes it clear that Muncie is in real danger.
Right.
And that whoever's behind this
Yeah.
is willing to kill to keep it quiet.
Exactly. So,
Totally.
and with the assassin gone, you'd think things would calm down a little bit.
Right.
But that's not how the madness rolls, is it?
Not at all.
There's always another twist.
Always.
So Muncie runs into Agent Quinones
Mm-hmm.
and confesses that he killed the assassin
Okay.
in self-defense.
Oh, wow.
And it seems pretty open and shut. Like
Yeah.
he was defending himself.
Yeah.
He had no choice.
Yeah.
Case closed?
Seems like it.
But then the autopsy comes back, and it turns out the assassin wasn't just killed.
No.
He was murdered,
Okay.
brutally murdered.
Wow.
Like 21 stab wounds.
Oh my God.
And Muncie only inflicted a few
Right.
during that struggle in the woods.
Yeah, that's where it gets really interesting.
Right.
Like who else was involved?
Exactly.
And why go to all that trouble
Yeah.
to make sure he was dead?
It's like someone is orchestrating everything
Yeah.
from behind the scenes.
Yeah,
And making sure that everything is covered up.
absolutely.
And then Muncie does something really interesting.
Okay.
He shows Quinones the watch.
Oh, wow.
What do you think about that?
That's a huge risk.
Right.
He's trusting someone he barely knows
Yeah.
with this secret.
But is it a sign that Muncie is starting to realize he needs help?
Maybe.
Like he can't fight this alone.
That's a good point.
The episode does such a good job
It does.
of showing how Muncie is changing.
Like, at first he was just reacting to everything.
Yeah.
But now he's taking control.
Right.
And trying to figure out what's really going on.
It's like he's turning from a scared man into like an investigator.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And through all of this,
Yeah.
we see how this is affecting his family.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Elena is still trying to get a divorce, but it's obviously weighing on her.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Like, she can't just escape from this situation.
It really shows how their lives are still connected.
Right.
Even though they're trying to separate.
And their kids are each reacting to this in their own way.
Yeah. How so?
Well, Demetrius seems kind of detached.
Really?
Yeah, like he's got his own problems he's dealing with.
Okay.
But Callie is worried about Muncie.
That's interesting.
Even though they don't have the best relationship,
Right.
it really highlights how this whole thing is forcing everyone to deal with their own issues.
That's what makes this episode so good.
Right.
It's not just a thriller.
It's also about these relationships.
Yeah.
And how they're affected by all this craziness.
It's like a character study disguised as a thriller.
Exactly.
Well, we're at the end of this episode, and I feel like we're kind of left hanging.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like we're on the edge of a cliff.
Right.
With more questions than answers.
I think that's what makes it so good, though.
Right.
Like, a good thriller should keep you guessing.
Yeah.
And make you want to come back for more.
This episode especially does a great job of weaving together all these different storylines. You know, you got the conspiracy with the Watch Jennings death.
Yeah.
Muncie's relationships with his family. And now this whole thing with the assassin.
And it all comes back to that one question.
Right.
Who can Muncie trust?
Yeah.
Like, even his own family doesn't seem to believe him.
Right.
And now he's trusting a federal agent.
Yeah. It's a big gamble.
It is.
Makes you wonder about all the choices he's made.
That have led him to this point. It's almost like his past is holding him back.
It makes you think, like, how much do our past actions affect who we are now?
That's a good question.
Can we ever really outrun
the
things we've done?
This episode doesn't give us any easy answers.
It doesn't.
And I think that's what makes it so interesting. We're left wondering how Muncie's going to get out of this mess. And who's going to help him along the way, if anyone.
Yeah. And will we finally find out what the deal is with that watch?
Guess we'll have to wait and see what happens next.
Yeah. Tune in next week to find out.
This is definitely one you don't want to miss.
I'll be here.
All right. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the madness.
Okay. See ya.